Hail Kingdom, today in Baldur's Gate 3 I decided to go deep and see how far I can push strength. Well, I pushed it pretty far and completely broke the game with our orc brothers. There's tons of classes we can choose from with different abilities, but I decided to completely ignore all smart stats, and we got dumb and charismatic orc barbarian, meet Unga Bunga, our today's hero that will try to complete Baldur's Gate 3 without any magic and shenanigans, and roleplay as an intelligent orc as much as possible. So after taking my first gold from chest, I took some damage just by dropping down, before instantly destroying brain of this poor dude. Also, let's not forget that Unga is our party leader and he gets all the best stuff, while working as hard as possible to get a little bit of experience, since we will need every bit of it. Honor mod is completely brutal, and there's loads of wisdom, intelligence and charisma checks. Since we got penalty to all these checks, we probably will lose most of them. Anyway, we succeed on a check to save Shadowheart. She will be our key to success in early game. After dipping weapons in fire, we will deal a lot of extra damage to our enemies, but it takes bonus actions. Guess who got permanently enchanted sword with fire? Of course, this red devil with insanely high armor class, and it's almost impossible to defeat him normally. I got 2 spell slots and 2 attempts. Oh, we need only 1, that's great. Stealing his sword and running away from this plane. Of course, we got enough intelligence to understand how controls on the ship work. I guess something like this. Yeah, it worked. We're landing and starting our adventure on the beach. So, here's my idea for this run. I want to try and break strength limits in Act 1, even before we attempt our first fights. So, mission number 1 is to assemble our Infernal Legion. For some reason I couldn't find Shadowheart on the beach and was forced to fight these headcrabs alone. Gladly we got this broken sword that deals some insane numbers this early in the game. Then I quickly assembled my initial party. Meet Astarion, Gale the Wizard. Oh no, sorry. This guy should not have names. We got Brutal Infernal Legion, nameless soldiers. Gale quickly became barbarian and we saved our frog friend from these awful tieflings. Therefore party was ready to fight versus goblins near Druid Grove, and that's how we will fight, like a brutal legion. We basically throw goblins, hit goblins, completely melt goblins, and even shoot goblins. After this battle is finished, I entered Druid Grove and decided to complete all quests that require only talking. This action advanced our party to level 3. Funny part that at this point of the game we can get loads of experience without any fighting by playing Barbarian. Thanks for best dialogue lines and easy checks, even though we got penalties. At the same time, I'm collecting my initial gear by lockpicking few chests. You may ask, why do you need equipment if you're not planning to fight? Well, even though right now I'm just running around and licking goblin fingers, actually we got a solid plan and soon this embarrassment will be over, because our party will become completely broken, or how I call them, Legion. So after entering Goblin Castle, we went straight into Priester's Guard room and entered Secret Passage. There was a guard, but since we're playing 4 versus 1 right now, I decided to take this fight, and won pretty quickly. Another reason to take a stop in this room is Amulet of Misty Step, and it's pretty useful stuff for us since we won't be able to use any magic, beside fun stuff that will be provided from our gear, so no scrolls. Anyway, after solving puzzle in this room, we unlocked path to Underdark, where I decided to split with my party, and that's what will give me ability to become completely broken after few interactions. So here is Raphael, and he spawned over here, he trapped me in his dialogue window, and I decided to completely break his dialogue window with a nice arrow in his head. Yeah, Raphael is a bad dude, so it's not a problem. Then I entered turn-based mode and got experience for this Minotaur kill, and tried to use my strength to get this blade. It's like Excalibur, but with different name, Falar Aloof. I need to use my strength to get it out of the stone. Turns out right now we don't have enough power to get it, but after a few attempts I got it. And then I got back into my encampment because Volo came here. Volo is a bard and he is a very cool dude because he's also a doctor. I told him I got blurry vision and he told me you got no vision at all. It was pretty sad, and also Lae'zel messed me with other person, since right now I got some weird looking eye of different color. You know what, I thought I can trust this frog, so I decided to surrender to her. Turns out it was a mistake. She instantly stopped me. Still, it was a bigger mistake for her, because I got necromancer friend and she's don't. Anyway, actually it's a good change for our party, since right now I can hire my old friend, his name is Bro, and we will go back to Underdark and save this guy from evil green mushrooms, to get best gloves for any throwing build, since anyone with high strength will like to have throwing build. Anyway, right now I used invisibility potion and going straight for this boat. And I saw loads of comments in my videos where people tell me that you can't go in the dark as low level. Well, you can. I technically got 0 battles over here and just playing GTA 6 on a boat. For safety reasons I decided to do it alone, since there's still pretty high chance to get drowned in the water before I reach my next destination. However, I got lucky and rolled critical 20, which gave me access to next teleport location in Grim Forge in Underdark. I knew that I need to somehow get behind these rocks, so I decided to throw a little bomb on top, and turns out the bomb got slightly larger radius than I initially thought. I tried not to fight, but technically it's not even a fight, we're just throwing them off the cliffs. After finishing last Druiger, I finally unlocked these rocks and we found a bunch of skeletons inside. Turns out, near the skeletons there's devil foil mask. That takes helmet slot, but gives you 0 bonuses. At least it looks pretty. After traveling through this place a little bit more, I received condition Infernal Legion, because right behind this door there's a bunch of devil dogs and also Myrmidon. Our party was reckless and completely obliterated these guys, while getting our precious loot, another devil foil mask, and one more mask was found on a table nearby. Then I went straight for Druigers, and after a bit of destruction, stole one more devil foil mask. So we got 4 of them, but still there is one more task in this location, because there is secret big ancient forge right behind digging site, where I collected molds to craft armor. But to do it I need ore, and turns out near ore there was a trap, there was loads of magma methods. We were surprised and it was brutally bad fight. Methods are insanely dangerous for low level party without any equipment, mostly because they blow themselves up after dying. So I creatively throw methods on methods and then finished them off with my throwing pike. Some of them, by the way, finished me, so yeah, it was completely brutal fight. But we got our ore and ready to craft some armor. Of course, before it's ready, we need to defeat big adamantine golem. Yeah, this golem is crazy, it's Mr. Grim, and normally you want to fight him as pretty leveled and geared party, since he is almost unkillable, but when he is in lava, he is superheated and he actually vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. And if you think I collected all items previously to use in my build, well, you're wrong. I actually collected all this stuff just to throw down on the Grim, because it will deal some bludgeoning damage even if I miss, and yeah, it will take a while since he got 450 HP. And it's not the biggest problem. The problem that at the half of his HP there's methods who arrive and start fighting versus us. The biggest problem, they created ignited ground. It messed our positioning and we started to throw items on each other instead of Grim. So as you can guess, party was in a big trouble and I decided to make one risky move. I used the amulet of Misty Step that we got earlier to try and lure Grim in the hammer range. I throw my weapon right at him and guess what? It's critical miss, yeah. Anyway, since there's no other targets, he walks towards me and I hoped he will stop over here. Turns out he got a lot more movement than I expected and he used Quake. Guess what happens next? Nothing good for Unga Bunga. Grim was out of throwing range and finished Unga Bunga on the next turn. This fight was truly brutal. I was forced to use my last pair of boots to throw it on Grim and luckily finish him off. Then finally I was able to craft 2 pieces of armor, and this is one of the best pieces of armor in the whole game. Fully equipped, I went back to the first act zones, and let's talk about these masks. By equipping them on all party members and staying near each other, I actually getting this buff. This buff raises strength by 1, but at the same time lowering charisma, wisdom and intelligence. This means we are truly right now completely dumb and extremely powerful party. To become even more powerful, I absorbed Parasite and decided to bring back shipment to Jentarim hideout. Pretty normal move, but it almost cost me a run. Just look over here, I tried to use my awesome persuasion with -3 bonus to charisma right now, since we're wearing masks. Guess what happens next? Yeah, I don't know how, but Astarion was pretty healthy. Unga Bunga survived too, but burned in a few seconds. That's why Honor mode is so cool, a run can end anytime. But right now it's a time to buy Titan String Bow from Jentarim Trader. Insanely cool bow that will add strength to damage. Just like that, our party almost ready to conquer Baldur's Gate 3, so we can start fighting and getting some experience. I pushed the Jentarim leader into bottom of this cave, and then realized I can throw a torch over there to blow all them up in one single turn. By doing this, we are already level 5. And Astarion as a ranger got new companion. This companion is Bear, and upgraded Bear got some secrets in his paws. And I talk about honey paws that can disarm enemy, so I casted guidance on our fluffy friend and added invisibility from a ring that I got somewhere and haven't threw on a Grimm's head. Now our fluffy paw got only one attempt on Honor mode and he succeed. Weapon dropped, this guy retreats on his big dragon. I was going only to steal a sword and run away, but luckily my bro managed to disarm 2 other Githyankis. This luck made this fight a lot more manageable until one of Githyankis became invisible. So I used everything that left from my brain and randomly attacked in a weird place. Actually, I got her and easily finished combat with my reckless attack. Why this part is so important for our party power? Because this guy drops Silver Sword of Astral Plane, legendary overpowered enchanted sword, which is pretty broken at this point, as you can guess. But after trying to get into Mountain Pass, Unga Bunga will completely break the game in terms of power, because we met Raphael in town, and Shadowheart gladly casted silence on him. Now this annoying demon can't speak with me, and I just continued to attack him for a few minutes with non-lethal mode turned on. After he is down, I got only a few seconds to pick up the loot, and I did it pretty easily as I dig ground like a true mole. Anyway, it was time to respec our character. Being stupid barbarian is cool, but there is a problem. If I want to use rage, I can't use heavy armor, so I decided to respec into fighter. And basically I did the same for entire Infernal Legion. Again, I kinda got 2 rules today. I want to use no spell scrolls and basically nothing weird, and use only basic attacks to beat a whole game, while at the same time trying to break strength limits for our characters. With our current setup, I got 21 armor class in Act 1, as well as 20 or even more strength on all characters. Funniest part with this setup, I don't even need a party at this point, because basically I'm able to one-shot most of enemies with my main character. But even if enemies will manage to hit through 20 armor class, well, we're using Heavy Armor Master trait, which lowers damage and we're taking 0 damage from most of the hits. Gameplay is so weird, I don't need to think about our options, we basically run and gun, go and attack. But at the same time, party is insanely balanced. We got Karlak, who is throwing Barbarian, and this returning pike with high strength at this point deals around 20 plus damage each turn, I mean each attack. Also we got Astarion with Titan String Bow, he deals a little bit less damage for now, but still we got 2 range characters. And 2 other guys is our melee fighters. After witnessing such amount of power, I decided to go for bosses. There is my friends and I tried to convince them to go and find Old Bear. Turns out it's not as easy to do with super dump party. Yeah, we can even lose difficulty class 2 checks. Old Bear fight was a complete mess, but we won, everyone was there, basically no one left. And I decided to go for next animal boss, which is Spider in Spider Nest. My initial idea was to actually use this party as one single unit, having some polearm masters and sentinels in front and 2 range guys at the back. But turns out these masks is actually broken. They work in 20-meter radius. Almost every zone will have 20-meter radius, so technically they work all the time and we're getting this bonus all the time. Still, without spells, bombs and special arrows, our options are pretty limited and we need to do some creative stuff from time to time. For example, I decided to wait until the spider will stand on her web and then destroy the web with one single shot. She was mad and she went straight up into me. After realizing there's full Infernal Legion right in front of her, she instantly backed. Still, I really enjoyed this boss fight because we never attacked spiders and we just attacked Ned most of the time. And she fell for the same trick 3 times in a row. What a stupid spider. Next on my list is lady who lives in this beautiful house, and house is so beautiful because my party just can't pass checks that require perception. Still, she decided to call me a petal and I decided that I can't stand it and instantly attacked. My plan was simple. I decided to jump on her and use ability of my insanely powerful sword. This ability can stun my target if I'm lucky, and I was pretty lucky. She's stunned for 2 turns. The biggest problem, I actually need to keep her alive, so she can give me a little bonus. She was down to 4 HP on the first turn. This basically showcases the power of basic pure strength. Since then I defeated her bodyguards. All of this while she was stunned for full duration of this fight. So eventually she ran away. I guess see you later, alligator. In her lair I showcased my transmog skills by turning this dwarf into ash. And I saw one really tasty ingredient for a good soup. Sadly, I missed. No soup for today, petal. Then I fought a bunch of anti-ethel bodyguards. And they was really helpful, because after jumping through waterfall, there's loads of poisonous gas clouds. The hardest part for me, of course, was try and succeed on perception check. But when I see this vent, these bodyguards actually will help me close them, and now there is no poisonous gas. So I went down and fought onto Ethel. This was a one-turn fight. Since on Honor mode all bosses will have some legendary actions. Guess what legendary action got onto Ethel? Whenever you cast a spell, we can end over here. I never cast a spell. And after almost finishing her, she actually proposed me a power. And I told you, of course you can keep the girl. I'll take the power. Who needs a girl? We need only power. Turns out this power is just a bunch of slime from her head, but okay, it will work, I guess. This slime will give me +1 to strength, and only on main character, of course. Then I collected bunch of potions from her lair and magic wand that I used to reanimate this awesome zombie. But he don't want to be my friend, so we finished him off and took him with us. Since I thought he can be useful when I bring him in goblin camp and reanimate him over there, maybe he will be my unkillable fighter. Instead, all goblins became mad and it was complete mess. There's lots of enemies and I could say this fight was hard, but no. By the way, this is the trader where I bought this bike. Goblins being destroyed by just one hit in most cases. Some of them tried to surrender, but it doesn't work versus me. And then I went inside Goblin Castle again. As you can guess, without any talk, we just start slaughtering all the goblins. To make this fight more dynamic, I decided to call some friends. At least they think they are friends, but for me they just experience after the fight. Then one goblin made a mistake, stepping closer to Karlach. She instantly tried to throw him on the spider cave, but he resisted. Yeah, he resisted with 22 strength Karlach. Guess what? Miracles happens only once in a time. No more miracles for you, Mr. Goblin. Then Dror decided to play a throwing game versus Karlach, and guess who is better thrower? Of course it's Karlach. At least that what was I thought. For some reason Karlach was not able to throw spears from outside inside this room, so technically Dror won. And this massive fight almost killed full party, so we need to heal somehow. Luckily Karlach got secret amulet and ring combination. Amulet gives ability to heal everyone in big radius, while a ring will give bonus to their attack rolls. So I pressed mass healing word and realized with negative spellcasting ability modifier we can actually negatively heal our party, and now our party got even lower health. It's fine though, because only Mintara left. She successfully used Hold Person on Astarion, since we can't resist any mental magic with our abilities, but her mental abilities is not perfect either. She decided to stand on a bridge and ended her life like a spider queen. Yeah, exactly like this. After clearing Wall Act 1 and getting all experience possible, I cleared Underdark and finished Grimforge also. Actually, I thought there will be loads of challenge without any spells and broken mechanics like special arrows of multi-targets and stuff like that. But turns out all party members can throw enemies where they want, even in lava, and no one can resist. So maybe Githyanki King can do it. No potions of speed, no weird preparations, just going in, stunning him, and checking his legendary action that states if I attack his allies, he will summon swords that will fight for him. So smart way to play this fight is to actually focus him down in one turn and then finish other Githyankis, because they also insanely powerful. Well, as you can guess, Infernal Legion doing exactly opposite. We actually starting to fight versus basic Githyankis, and then we will finish their king, basically winning this fight in 1 or 2 turns. It was just a cakewalk. We took 0 damage. There's basically only one weakness to this party – mental magic, so when someone tries to fear us, we're dropping weapons like scared petals. It turned fight into a complete mess, but some Githyankis made even dumber mistakes than we are making. I don't know how it happens every time, but they like to fly, I'll guess. And I always glad to help them doing their favorite stuff, going into darkness. By the way, this part was streamed here on YouTube, and since all encounters right now feels insanely easy, I asked chat, what fight will be the hardest in Act 1? And they told me, fight versus dead shepherds who is resistant to all damage types. We agreed that if I get legendary mace from Githyanki Crochet that gives radiant damage, it probably will be a lot easier and a lot more doable. So I decided to skip this weapon and see power of our party versus these guys as true legion. Instead of rushing forward, I decided to stand still as one single unit, where melee fighters protecting range guys. What we got here is Astarion that can deal around 7 damage, and Karlach who deals around 10 or 15 damage at average. But Shepherds is not only problem in this fight, there's a bunch of ghouls running around. And here's the fun part, Shepherds actually can resurrect these ghouls, and also they can resurrect themselves. And even with our insane strength, basic attacks doing almost 0 damage to these guys. It took us few turns just to remove ghouls from existence. But then one of 2 shepherds came in, resurrected one of the ghouls, and also he was able to attack 2 times in one single turn. Luckily for us, we got insanely broken armors and taking not really big damage. The next turn I decided to start focusing one of the shepherds and unleashed my full power with superiority dice and also with action surge that gives me ability to attack even more in one single turn. It was great idea, but Karlach decided that better idea is to miss all throws, until she finally managed to hit this lying on the ground shepherd and finished him out. Enemy ghoul instantly took action and attacked Bro. Bro was paralyzed, and that's bad, because on paralyzed enemy every melee hit will be a critical strike, so we are in a deep trouble right now. I need insanely cool plan, so I decided to try and stun Mr. Shepard. We was lucky, Shepard stunned, this means he won't be able to revive his friend for the next 2 turns, and of course we managed to finish him. So it was actually a hard fight, but again, with simple mechanics comes simple solutions, and they all work brilliantly. Unlike encounter with this old man. He arrived into my camp near the end of Act 1. And you know who is here to Unga Bunga, he's just experience. Turns out, Will does not like it, Scratch does not like it, and even though we get enough power to knock this guy out, if we just fight 4 versus 1 normally, Halcyon will create complete mess in our camp. He teleports with Misty Step and throws everyone out with Thunder Wave. I decided that Halcyon is our problem now and instantly destroyed him in just few hits. Then Astarion decided that it's nice to miss 2 shots in a row, and this old man survived. Then he instantly one-shot Gale with disintegrate, and our camp became complete mess, since Karlak decided to learn from Astarion playbook. And for some reason, Bro decided to turn against us. He used Misty Step and used all his awesome abilities, dropped my weapon, and basically destroyed Unga Bunga in one simple turn, because Bro is also extremely overpowered dude. Now the future of this Honorable run lies in Astarion's hands, and he instantly misses. It's awful, but then he dips his bow in fire and shoots one last arrow at Elminister. One shot, one kill, delete. 1000 experience is what I take every day. Then Bro destroyed Unga Bunga, and then our party made a revenge and destroyed everyone who made complete mess. Gale decided to blow himself up with the world, but we stopped him, and now everyone is fine. I decided to remove these traitors, but Game decided otherwise. Game told me, bro, you will need these guys if you want to max your strength. So actually I replayed this part of the run off stream later and kept Halcyon alive. Also discovered interesting interaction. Heavy Armor Master should give us strength +1 to a maximum of 20, but if we already have 20 strength, we can actually push it further to 21 strength total. As you can guess, with our masks we can start Act 2 with 24 strength flat, which is completely crazy. If you're interested in builds, only Karlak took few multiclasses in Rogue, and other party consists only of mindless Battle Masters. Ready to go in Act 2, which is pretty hard act if you skip parts of Act 1, but we took all experience possible and basically one-shotting monsters over here. Most of monsters and enemies in Act 2 is just basic enemies that is destroyed in 1 or 2 hits, beside few exceptions that got around 250 HP that we will just stun and then delete in few turns. Enemies is not a problem, so I went straight for the good gear. I bought armor cloak from Quartermaster Tali, then I spoke with Damon and he tried to convince me to give him my masks. What he want to do with them? Well, he want to create these bombs. They of course is awful and we never give him my masks. Instead I will buy Darkfire Shortbow for some risky plays with haste and evasive shoes from Mattis. This set will set me to 24 armor class without any shield, which is pretty crazy. Everyone in the camp was amazed by my power, but then some weird pigeon arrived. Not for too long though, he decided to speedrun his life and ended his existence in just one turn, so I went straight to Moonlight Towers and bought best hull as well as Drake Throat Glaive, that Bro will use to buff my weapon for extra elemental damage on top. But most important part for our mission is this lady, Arash Ablodra. I asked Astarion to bite her.
Fine, I'll do it.
And this action gave me Potion of Everlasting Vigor, which increases my strength by 2. It's pretty crazy and I already feel ready to defeat the bad guy in this tower, however Goblins was a little bit faster. Not as easy though, this guy is actually immortal, it's Ketrick Torm, and if I go now, I will end like this, so we need a plan. I decided to ask his family first. This guy is doctor, it's his brother, but as you can guess, they not really look like a good doctors, but at least he is pretty powerful boss to test our new powers. So I started a fight with Astarion from the side, then Unga Bunga land critical hit, pretty massive one, but got dazed and stunned. Astarion finished few nurses, and then Karlak helped him a little bit more. Bro went crazy again, started to attack Unga Bunga and then ran away. Typical Bro. Anyway, Unga Bunga pushed Doctor to a corner and started ground and pound. Pretty brutally, I would say. This ended in some epic interaction, you will enjoy it. Yeah, that's what happens when you can't hold yourself. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Anyway, it was time to go into Mausoleum, where there's a lot of traps and puzzles. We failed all perception checks and randomly mashed all buttons. It worked and we opened secret door that led into Temple of Shar, a place with loads of puzzles, but we decided to use our brutal power and tried to mash our head on this button. Basically I need to press on this button and we will be able to open the door. Guess what? It worked in a few turns. So after opening the door we went forward and met skeletons. Skeletons are ambushed by weird guys and combat started, but Unga Bunga not in a combat, kind of, but he can attack. Basically I'm using no actions or bonus actions and can attack these guys. But why? Well, I reloaded the game and found myself in a previous room. Basically I kinda bugged behind the textures and was out of the fight. So I kinda cheated in this combat a little bit in the beginning. Anyway, this combat is pretty easy because every enemy destroyed in a few hits, and after this fight ends we find this control panel that require one little ball to activate it. So let's find it. First of all, I destroyed Balthazar in basically like 2 turns, because our party is pretty broken right now, and descended straight into the temple, where I found our friends. Yeah, guys, look at them. It's another infernal legion, and there's big demon who is their leader, Jurgir. This guy cannot be surprised, but he can be stunned. This fight is actually pretty hard sometimes because he throws some deadly bombs, but when he's stunned and all other guys is surprised, well, he lives only for one single turn after few critical hits. And what about his army? Well, they as good as cannon fodder. We just throw them around and defeat them by using themselves. Same as Displacer Beast. Yeah, I just throw Displacer Beast copies onto Displacer Beast for massive damage. After fight ends, I found a ball at the bottom of this cave and went straight for elevator, activated, and here we are, going deeply into Temple of Shar to find out that we need 3 more balls. Well, only if you don't have Knock spell. That opens the door, but I forgot to finish one quest, so I went back to Last Light Inn, and there's a guy in really bad condition. Turns out Unga Bunga with 5 charisma can play music that will bring any dead man back alive. This leads us into conversation with Halsin, and he wants to complete ritual, while I need to stay on the beach and protect Portal from overwhelming forces of enemies. It was probably the hardest part of wall run, because if Portal dies, there will be no Halsin and no buff in the end game. So I tanked as much as possible and tried to use all my reactions and all available options to defeat as many enemies every single turn. Sentinel feat really helped, because after using reaction, it stops guys, they can't move, and melee guys was not able to attack Portal. If they managed to come close, I also pushed them with our pushing attacks. Still, it was insanely close, and even one attack could end this fight. We survived and we saved Oliver, so we are ready to go deep into the water and save Dame Island. She was actually a key to Ketheric immortality, so now I went straight to Moonrise Towers and talked with Jaheira. She wanted to go in and attack, but I got different plan. I used 2 roots on the side and climbed tower up. Not everyone know how to climb, so it was not a very easy task, but still, after reaching high enough, I used my Misty Step amulet and went straight into the battlefield, magically teleporting whole party, and decided to take a duel with Unga Bunga versus Ketheric. I used disarming attack, and it went pretty nicely with critical hit. Then I saved from his shield counterattack, and he dropped his weapon. Guess what? In a few turns, he decided to surrender and ran away. We finished his guys, and then chase him in area full of brains from tutorial level. Yes, guess what, it's just a bunch of experience points for us. We reached elevator and going down to this pool to meet all the bad evil guys. I was curious why Ketheric wielding mace over here when he's dropped it, but real mace in my hands, while he got pretty interesting substitution. Anyway, I started fight by saving Dame Alien first and then attacking little guys, because they are pretty annoying. Luckily I got new weapons and they are really powerful against multiple enemies, and Karlach can one-shot all the small skeletons and this little axe that makes them resurrect, while at the same time in most cases she can land one spear on Ketheric and make him fall prone, which for some reason makes him basically stand still and lose his turn, while losing his mind. At the same time, he decided to swim in jacuzzi right in the middle of the fight and transformed into big skeletal beast, Apostle of Merkel, with really high defense and even critical hits, almost dealing 0 damage to him. Fight was just long, not very hard. After moving to Act 3, I became friends with Mr. Octopus and spent all tadpoles to become insanely overpowered. And after arriving to Act 3, we met this guy. He asked for help, but by accident he was not able to survive this fight, as well as his bodyguards. Yeah, that's how powerful we are right now. Basically 2 shots against basic guys and some critical strikes instantly removes enemies from existence. This guy, by the way, got invitation to Lower City. That's that's exactly where we need to go right after we will get a little bit more powerful. And how we will do it? Well, first of all, Astarion will eat Tadpole. Yeah, he is not that smart, don't forget he got only 5 intelligence. Now I just start fights versus guards everywhere. They're not very powerful and not very smart. They try to run away, but Karlach always throws them down to Astarion and he bites them. Fun part that these guards is basically respawnable, so by killing few guards we got level 12 and finished our build with new feats like Great Weapon Master all-in and Sharpshooter for even more damage. Quests in Act 3 require really high difficulty checks, and when you can't open the door, well, we can use our all methods, brutally destroying every door we see. But in Act 3, well, behind closed doors, there's more doors. Yeah, that's how it works. Luckily we know how to fly, and most of the tasks actually got multiple solutions or multiple roads how you can get there. For example, this place got this secret door, and this door not really locked. At least it's not locked for Unga Bunga. So I went in and followed main quest line. That led me to Gortash temple or castle, whatever. But instead of meeting Gortash, I decided to get down into prison. It's insanely well protected by sleeping guard that gave me key, and basically we opened the prison, got inside and found a bunch of dragon statues that breathe fire. But I don't like fire, so I augmented my weapon with elemental lightning damage and hit these dragons. They start to breathe lightning, which unlocks secret door, and by going inside we arrive into old and secret Baldurian trials. These trials require us to be insanely smart and make good decisions, but Unga Bunga can't make good decisions. So he destroyed the painting and the trial master was really mad. He decided to punish us for not following the rules and summoned loads of enemies, but at the same time opening the door. Guess what? We got straight inside the door, leaving all enemies behind. The problem, next door was closed also, and after speaking with Trial Master, he actually told we made a really good job and we allowed to go in. We allowed to go in and see the big dragon, as well as very secret and best helmet in the game. However, in this run we think this is best helmet in the game, if only we was able to think. Anyway, it's the start of fight versus Answer, and Answer is insanely powerful dude, accompanied by a bunch of his friends. Luckily for us, we get insanely high armor class and friends most of the time misses, but they create chilled ground and we falling prone. At the same time, whenever we hit Answer, he retaliates with lightning, and this chain lightning is devastating. Bro barely survived first turn, and new spear that Karlach have does not help, because it also attacks our nearby allies. Anyway, we continue to attack, and it brings down Answer to half of his health. That's where he decided to unleash insane power of lightning, so he became mad, fly up, and this will be something massive. Karlach instantly retreats behind these crystals, while Astarion decided that it's better to land few shots and landed somewhere close to 0 damage. Yeah, it's insane, considering he was out of movement speed after last shot and now he is exposed. So Bro decided to help. He jumped straight to Astarion and used him as improvised weapon to move him and maybe protect him behind the crystals. It was Answer's turn to unleash, and he unleashed. Everything is destroyed. It's pretty massive, pretty beautiful, and at the same time pretty devastating for our team. Astarion is down, so he's not saved, but he actually was pretty useful throughout the fight, since he does not stand close to the team and takes this retaliation chain lightnings from Answer. After Answer was almost finished, he actually got a shield for 600 HP, flew up and got ready to unleash one more time. However, there is no more crystals on the arena right now. He unleashed and everyone is deleted. Almost everyone. So Bro got his last chance to defeat Answer. He goes in and sleeps. Yeah. Okay, there was one crystal, so I actually finished answer with one crossbow shot and we won. And I'm here not by surprise. Answer drops Balduran Giant Slayer, the best sword that will use our strength for damage. Still, 26 strength is not enough, and I decided to go to Viconia Palace. She is a priestess of Shar, and I thought we can be friends, so I went straight in and have a smoke talk with her. However, she decided that I'm bad because I already removed Shadowheart from my party. I tried to convince her otherwise, but with our penalty, of course, it's not possible. So after rolling a few times, we went straight into the battle. And this is awful battle, we totally outnumbered and we need a plan. But Viconia gave plan herself. She actually tried to use some magic to save her friends. She broke her sanctuary and lived for one single turn, because with Balduran Giant Slayer I can become giant and one-shot all enemies in this game right now. Basic enemies, of course. Viconia drops valuable items, and these items is very valuable because I drop them on a scale to open the door. Yeah, I don't care about these items, I care about this mirror of loss. And it will be hard because I need to succeed religion check, and it was critical success. Pretty easy for the first attempt. Anyway, we got access to the mirror. I sacrificed my intelligence to the mirror to gain strength, and I used it. Guess what happens now? Mirror definitely took my intelligence, but I don't see any strength. It was weird and took a while until I figured out. Long story short, I can't get more strength by using mirror, so I need another plan. I was disappointed and decided to completely break the game, so I respect Karlach into trickery domain cleric and a little bit of wizard to create companion. With gloves that I got early in the game, I used this aura to make my companions angry, and then I throw haste potion on the ground. Exactly at this spot I invoke duplicity to create clone, and hastened clone for some reason can be pickpocketed. Yeah, just look over here, we can get all items from this clone by simply stealing them. Well, you can guess how many Giant Slayers I got right now in my party, and also my armor classes are through the roof. So we went straight for Mr. Saravok and his bodyguards. Bodyguards lives for around like 2 or 3 attacks, and now not only for Unga Bunga attacks, but also for bro attacks. We got basically 2 Giant Slayers in a party. Funnily enough, Saravok got protection from dropping his weapon, but after he is dead, I see 2 swords in his inventory. Is this protection or new bug? I don't know. Let's kindly ask Orin. So I started to fight versus Orin, and it's pretty messy and hard fight if you don't have any spells and valuable spell scrolls or powerful magic arrows. That's because every time we end our turns, there is turn of Baal, and he will curse one of my allies and also refresh Unstoppable aura on Orin. Unstoppable is pretty crazy, it turns every damage into 1 damage, and she got 12 stacks of it. So honestly, this fight feels impossible when you're using only basic attacks. But we get a little bit of cheat codes in our arsenal, of course. Don't forget, we were stupid enough to eat tadpoles, so we got Mind Sanctuary at the moment. Standing in the circle, we get extra actions, and this gives us extra arrows that we can shoot at Orin. So Astarion and Karlach start to shoot Orin with all their actions possible. This went Orin down to 0 unstoppable stacks, and then Unga Bunga joined the party. He instantly started to melt Orin and finished her in one single turn, which is pretty crazy. Also, it's pretty crazy that Mr. Bro decided to end him in one turn also, because he was cursed by Baal. It was time to fight Gortash, and we could make a massive big fight with loads of participants, but I decided to use him as improvised weapon, and while carrying him I teleported to Soulspawn Worm Rock Crossing. It looks like Gortash really enjoying while he is in my hands, but I want just one simple thing. I want to show him this awesome view of Baldur's Gate. Yeah, this view is amazing, and if you think so, don't forget to drop a like for this video. I hope you dropped a like, and I will drop Gortash and get his stone. So I got all stones right now and can get on the boat to fight Netherbrain in Baldur's Gate Upper City. That's the place where we meet all the friends we got through the campaign. However, we was not really lucky, and only our friend is Halcyon. Honestly, it's everyone we need, because after getting Halcyon quest in Act 2, when we reach endgame and meet him here, we get this aura that increases all abilities by 1. So I got 27 strength. Is this maximum? I don't think so. I asked my party to become trickery domain clerics and invoke duplicity in this area. Guess what? If you remember correctly, every clone got all items. This means every clone will have masks, and this means we have not +3 bonus to strength from Infernal Legion, but +6. Look at this buff line, it's pretty crazy, and of course we have 30 strength right now. I tried to use different potions, but we can't go above 30 strength. Sadly, it's a limit, and sadly we can't succeed in side check, and therefore we won't have any allies in upcoming fight. This forced me to use invisibility potion and Astarion to reach Netherbrain. And I know normally everyone try to skip last fight and go straight for Brain, because last fight is really hard. But we went straight Unga Bunga. Yeah, I decided to take a fight and destroy these guys over here before attempting Netherbrain. I went straight for the dragon with Unga Bunga and summoned a bunch of tentacles. Then Astarion flew forward to create bubble for extra actions, and with this bubble Unga Bunga managed to defeat dragon in one single turn. Yeah, that's how powerful fully maximized strength fighter is. No weird potions or shenanigans, just raw power. After defeating dragon, we are ready to beat abominations. They are pretty powerful, and most of them got a protection from basic types of attacks, which is pretty bad for us. But when they are frightened, they can't move, and all of them are melee, because we are fighters from level 1. Some of them was not frightened, and they was completely pain in the ass, since they definitely know how to fight. However, the biggest pain in this fight is Octopus Friends, because they got some broken version of Magic Missile dealing insane amount of damage, or at least they know what is the best spell in the game. And another enemy that can end my run is this crown. It's not even an enemy, but it uses ability every turn. And we got pretty low protection from this type of magic. However, everyone was fine beside Unga Bunga. Karlak barely survived, but it's more than enough to finish off 2 Squidwards. One by one she removed them from existence and went forward, accompanied by other party members. Bro finally shined in this fight instead of trying to fight with this Unga Bunga right in the middle of the fight. And somehow he even resisted this crazy mind blast that can stun him. Unga Bunga still did some weird stuff, because I can't control him, he basically do whatever he wants. But eventually my squid friend reached Crown of Cartus and used his ability, which opens the gate on the next turn, and we are ready to fight Netherbrain. It already got half HP because we succeed saving throw. And this brain got just 15 armor class. Considering our strength bonuses and weapon enchantments, there's only 5% chance that we can miss. And since Unga Bunga can defeat dragon in one single turn, full party can remove brain from existence in one turn also. If you're curious how story ended, well, Unga Bunga planned it from beginning. He betrayed Squidward and became the ruler of the world. In my name. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this run. Make sure to watch other cool videos on the screen right now. And see you there.